The crown of Aquilonia rests heavy on a barbarian's brow. Conan, once a wanderer, a thief, and a mercenary, now sits upon the throne of the most powerful kingdom in the civilized world. He had carved his way to the top with a bloody axe and an iron will. But to wear the crown is one thing, to keep it is another entirely. The nobles whisper in shadowed halls, plotting, their silken words dripping with poison. The common folk, weary of war, look to their new king with a mixture of hope and fear. Is this Cimmerian truly their salvation, or just another tyrant in the making? Conan finds the intricate dance of court politics more treacherous than any battlefield he has ever known. The weight of an entire kingdom presses down on him, a burden far greater than any sword or shield. From the sun-scorched lands of Stygia, a shadow lengthens, a darkness that threatens to consume the west. The malevolent sorcerer Thothamon, a high priest of the serpent god Set, watches Conan's rise with burning hatred. He sees not a king, but an upstart barbarian defiling a sacred throne. Thothamon, a master of forbidden arts and a manipulator of men, begins to gather his forces. He weaves his dark magic, calling upon ancient evils and binding them to his will. He promises power, wealth, and vengeance to ambitious lords and desperate chieftains. From the deserts of the south to the frozen wastes of the north, a grand conspiracy takes shape. Coalition of darkness united by one goal: the utter destruction of King Conan and the fall of Aquilonia. Thothamon's influence spreads like a plague, a web of deceit and corruption that ensnares the greedy and the fearful. An army, unlike any seen before, is being forged in the fires of his ambition. The storm breaks upon Aquilonia's borders with the fury of a hurricane. Thothamon's legions, a monstrous tide of Stygian soldiers, Kushite warriors, and creatures summoned from the darkest pits, march under the banner of the coiled serpent. Their advance is relentless, a wave of destruction that washes over the land. Villages are razed, their people scattered or put to the sword. Fields turn to ash, and rivers run red. The sorcerer's magic precedes his armies, sowing terror and despair. Plagues wither the crops, and phantom armies haunt the dreams of Aquilonia's defenders. The kingdom's armies, though valiant, are stretched thin, fighting on multiple fronts against an enemy that seems to be everywhere at once. The generals send desperate pleas to the capital, their reports painting a grim picture of overwhelming numbers and unnatural horrors. Panic begins to grip the heart of the kingdom. It seems the reign of King Conan may be the shortest and bloodiest in Aquilonia's long history. The crown he fought so hard to win feels more like a death sentence. In the throne room, the air is thick with gloom. Conan studies the maps, his jaw set like granite. Every report is worse than the last. His advisors urge caution. Some even whisper of surrender, of appeasing the sorcerer. Conan slams his fist on the table, the sound echoing like a thunderclap. Surrender is not a word in his vocabulary. He would rather die on his feet, axe in hand, than bend his knee to a snake-worshipping magician. But even his indomitable will cannot conjure soldiers from thin air. The numbers are stark, undeniable. For every Aquilonian soldier, Thothamon has 3. As despair threatens to take hold, a new figure enters the court. The guards part, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Through the doors strides a woman with hair like a fiery sunset and eyes as green and dangerous as a jungle cat. Clad in her iconic chainmail bikini, she carries a sword that has tasted the blood of 1,000 foes. It is Red Sonja, the she-devil with a sword, a warrior whose legend is whispered in every tavern and barracks, from Hyrcania to the Western Sea. She and Conan had crossed paths before, sometimes as allies, sometimes as rivals. Always with a spark of untamed energy between them. She walks to the foot of the throne, her gaze meeting Conan's. Without preamble, she speaks, her voice clear and strong. "You seem to be in a bit of trouble, Cimmerian." She plants the tip of her sword on the stone floor. "I've come to offer my blade. Thothamon's minions have caused trouble for my people as well. It's time we sent them screaming back to the hells they crawled from. A murmur runs through the court. A single warrior, even one as legendary as Red Sonja, against an army. But Conan sees the fire in her eyes, the same untamable spirit that burns within his own soul. Her arrival is an omen, a turning point. Hope, which had all but vanished, ignites anew in the heart of the king. The enemy is at the gates. The vast, teeming horde of Thothamon surrounds the capital city of Tarantia, their siege engines and grotesque banners stretching as far as the eye can see. The final, desperate battle for Aquilonia is about to begin. On the city walls, King Conan stands beside Red Sonja. He is clad in royal battle armor, the Aquilonian lion roaring on his breastplate. He holds his greatsword, its polished surface reflecting the grim light of dawn. Beside him, Sonja is a whirlwind of contained energy, her lithe form a stark contrast to the heavily armored soldiers around her. They exchange a look, a silent understanding passing between two of the greatest warriors of their age. There are no grand speeches. There is only the grim reality of the fight ahead. The war horns of the enemy sound a discordant, terrifying blast that shakes the very stones of the city. With a deafening roar, the horde surges forward. The final battle has begun. The clash of steel is a deafening symphony of death. Conan leads the charge from the main gate, a force of nature in human form. His greatsword rises and falls, carving a bloody path through the enemy ranks. He is a whirlwind of destruction, his barbarian fury unleashed. Every swing of his blade sends bodies and limbs flying. He fights with the strength of a wild bear and the speed of a panther, his blue eyes blazing with the light of battle. Not far from him, Red Sonja is a blur of red hair and flashing steel. She moves with a dancer's grace and a killer's precision. Her sword is an extension of her will, parrying, thrusting, and slicing with breathtaking speed. She ducks under the clumsy swing of a giant's club, her blade darting out to sever his hamstring. She leaps onto a siege tower, her twin blades clearing the platform of enemy archers in seconds. Together, Conan and Sonja are an unstoppable force. They fight back to back, a bastion of defiance in the swirling chaos. Their movements are perfectly synchronized, a deadly ballet of combat honed by countless battles. They are two sides of the same coin, the raw, brutal power of Conan and the swift, precise lethality of Sonja. The Aquilonian soldiers, inspired by the sight of their king and his warrior queen, fighting like demigods, find new strength. They rally around the two legends, their fear replaced by a fierce determination. The tide of the battle, once so hopelessly against them, begins to turn. Through the maelstrom of combat, Conan's eyes search for one man. He pushes deeper into the enemy host, his goal clear. He must face the architect of this destruction. On a dais carried by hulking, inhuman bearers stands Thothamon. The sorcerer is surrounded by his elite guard, chanting incantations, his hands weaving spells of shadow and fire. He hurls bolts of black energy into the Aquilian ranks, men screaming as their flesh withers from their bones. Conan roars a challenge, a sound of pure, primal rage. He cuts down the last of the guards, separating them, his sword dripping with blood. He leaps onto the platform, his massive frame blocking out the sun. The final confrontation is at hand. Thothamon, for all his power, is momentarily taken aback by the sheer ferocity of the barbarian king. He drops his arcane gestures and draws a wicked serpentine blade, its edge glowing with a sickly green light. The duel for the soul of a kingdom begins. It is might versus magic, steel versus sorcery. Thothamon's enchanted blade moves with unnatural speed, leaving trails of green fire in the air. He lunges and Conan parries, the clash of their swords sending sparks of magical energy showering around them. The sorcerer chants, and shadowy tendrils erupt from the ground, attempting to ensnare Conan's legs. The Cimmerian leaps and dodges, his barbarian instincts serving him better than any formal training. He is relentless, constantly pressing the attack, giving the sorcerer no time to cast his more powerful spells. Conan's greatsword is a blur of motion, a testament to raw physical power. He batters at Thothamon's defense, his blows strong enough to shatter stone. The sorcerer's magic can deflect and misdirect, but it cannot stop the sheer brute force of the king. With a final desperate incantation, Thothamon summons a demon of smoke and flame. But as the creature forms, Conan sees his opening. He ignores the fiery apparition and drives forward, his sword a silver streak. The blade pierces Thothamon's heart. The sorcerer's eyes go wide with shock, a look of disbelief on his face. The magic that animates him sputters and dies. His body withers, aging 1,000 years in a second, before crumbling into a pile of black dust and whispering ashes. With their master gone, the magical hold on his army is broken. The summoned demons dissolve into nothingness. The reanimated dead fall silent. A wave of confusion and terror ripples through the invading horde. They see their godlike leader vanquished by the barbarian king. The will to fight evaporates. A few break and run, then dozens, then hundreds. The retreat becomes a full-blown rout. The leaderless army scatters to the winds, hunted down by the victorious Aquilonians. The sun sets over a battlefield littered with the fallen. The capital city of Tarantia is saved. Aquilonia is secure. On the walls, Conan and Red Sonja stand together, watching the last of the enemy disappear over the horizon. They are battered, bruised, and covered in the grime of battle, but they are victorious. The kingdom owes its salvation to the barbarian who became a king, and the Shitavel who fought by his side. Their alliance, forged in the crucible of war, would pass into legend. The tale of how King Conan and the fierce warrior Red Sonja stood against the dark sorcery of Thothamon and saved the civilized world would be told in song and story for generations to come. A timeless saga of courage, strength, and the unbreakable spirit of heroes. Thank you for watching this epic tale from the Hyborian Age. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of Conan the Barbarian, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of high adventure. Let us know in the comments which saga you'd like to see us explore next. Until then, may your sword stay sharp and your courage never fail.